Hey there, welcome back to the table. The the rant-free table for this video. I'll try my best. Um, one of the really cool things is I'm actually recording while there's natural daylight, and you can see there's no glaring spot in in my board. Um, Couple of viewer comments. First of all, the comment about surface detection. That the subs don't get this penalty. I agree. They should only get this penalty right here. I think that's how we played it this last video. I know I keep going back and forth, but I'm very much happy with the thermal layer is the only thing that impacts a deep sub. And if you're a shallow sub, you don't get this penalty at all. You're just impacted by the range penalty on the board. I think that's an excellent way to play. The surface detection is only for surface-to-surface ships. Fair enough. The next thing is somebody commented that the Anguima ships gave me SO points, and I never reshuffled the deck, so I still have them here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got 4 SO points for sinking those ships. So I'm going to give that to myself, of course. Why would I not? That means I got 9 SO points extra from the last meeting, or mission, which means I have a total of 8 new ones for this, so 39 and 8, I am at 47 SO points. And then my last command decision is that we're going to rush through this campaign, and I'm going to assume that I gained 8 SO points each time. So I know this is gobbledygook, but I had to rewrite it all. So this was 39, went to 47, and then we would be spending 18 just like before, because I'm going to assume that we spent just as much as last time. And so 47 and 8 is 55. And how many missions do we do? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So then, 55 will be our final number that we would land on. Because I'm assuming, I get 22, but I'm spending some. And that's, I think I'm penalizing myself, to be quite honest. I don't think I need as many SO points because I'm, these missions aren't as deep as this one was. But I'm also going to assume I scored the victory points, so I got a 6 here for this one. And I got to get this stuff out of the way. And then we only have a couple cards left, so let's draw for the next mission. This would have been a wolf pack, would have given me 6 more. And I don't see any reason why I wouldn't take it. It's a 15. It's actually in the very first section, so we wouldn't even have any encounters to do. And what I mean by first section, look right here. It's the very first thing. All right, so if I would have did that, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that was the target number. That wasn't the victory points. So we would have gotten 6 and then 6 more. And this would have been 10, 21, 28, and 4 is 32. 38 and 6. So grand total of 44 victory points. Great. And you could always say, hey, it's an asterisk because you never actually played it. But we were rumple stomping this. So... And then that brings up the next thing that somebody mentioned is I kept saying I don't understand what it means to add TF2 and Act 2 to the next campaign. The thing this add word is what was throwing me off, but and then somebody said, well, you just get 2 bumps. And then of course I didn't know what that meant. When you have mental lock, you have mental lock. There's nothing you could do about it. It is a state of mind. Alright, now I'm trying to figure out what did I do with my... This is the third one. Where's the second one? Somehow or another, I threw that back in the box. That's crazy. Okay, so like this would be the new one. And all there's... So the interpretation that was given, and I do think it was a good one, is since we got a great rating, we have to add TF2 and ACT2 to the next campaign. So normally we're here, so when you add 2, it just means 1, 2, like that. That's what they were trying to tell me. And I think that's actually a fair thing because we did well. The task force level and activity level actually gets bumped down, which means that the next mission is a little bit easier. Sort of expecting that, and yeah, so we roll into now an average difficulty campaign, and there are no purple zones, so I still don't know if we're going to have to deal with aircraft as much, but it is a possibility. So we would have to set up the target decks and everything for this, but there's a lot of in-between things that we would have to deal with. First of all, let's get our task force there, and as it says, our job is to protect the convoys. So first things first, there's 100 SO points here, and any ships that transfer into this mission, we have to basically buy them again. So you're paying for them a second time, and all that means is just that you got to have enough SO points for them. Otherwise, you got to pay out of your personal, your personal list. So I'm going to get the North Atlantic Skirmish one out of the way. I'm going to put this one to replace it. And as you can see, we're only going to get 20 SO points this time, but maybe we'll be okay with that because like last time we got 22, but I don't know. Maybe we don't need as much stuff. And then somehow or another, I just completely destroyed all my piles of things, and I think it's because of my camera. I'll fix that later. Okay. Oh, and then the last thing I was going to do is that the Wainwright only needed to get 5 experience points to promote. So we're going to just assume that he didn't make it. He currently has... He would have gotten 2 for the mission. He's at 3 right now. Actually, he would have easily gotten it. Never mind. He's promoted as well. So everybody's a warrior. So Wainwright's a warrior. So let's do the hard part. I'm going to start with the die that always rolls the worst for me. And let's go with, we're doing the Dort. We're going to go through all of our warriors. Oh, did the John Rogers level up? That's the next one. The John Rogers is sitting on... Oh gosh, he's got 5. Yeah, he levels up too. He has 5, and just defeating one mission target would have gotten them 2 more. So yeah, the John Rogers is now a warrior as well. Everybody's a warrior. It's Oprah time. Okay, we're going to start with the Dort. I rolled an 8. Boy, did we get lucky there. Okay, so the Dort is the cheapest of all of them. So if there was, and he levels up the fastest. So if there was anybody to roll a 9 or 10, I guess it should have been him. But the Dort warrior does move on to the next mission, so we will be able to use him. And I'm very grateful for that because obviously we need them to be good on this one. So he is warrior level and he's moving on. We get to keep him. Now he has a total cost of 8 SO, and as you know, we have 100 that needs to transfer. It says, the bigger thing is do I have to pay for the helicopter again? That's the question. You can transfer any ship. You only transfer ships up to the allowed campaign starting SO points. If your transfer SO point cost is less, you can use the remaining points to purchase additional ships. Okay, it doesn't say anything about helicopters, so I guess it's up to you to decide. Are the helicopter SO costs part of the transfer? I'm going to assume yes. We can always just buy another helicopter. Okay, Commander also has to do the role, or he gets transferred. So our awesome Commander. Okay, my hands are here. I got a 5. So Commander survives. That was actually really good, having the commander make it. The USS John Rogers. That's a 6. The cruisers don't transfer until mission 3, but we're going to roll for them. The Wainwright. That's an 8. The Ticonderoga. The Leyte Gulf. I rolled a 3. Oh, yeah, what am I going to do about the Doyle? Because the Doyle could have done some missions. We could have given him some experience points. I'm going to leave him be. He's skilled already, and we're just going to assume that he tagged along and didn't gain any. Oh my gosh, I only have one more guy left, and that is the Spruance. That one takes a while to level up. I hope I don't... Oh, there it is, a 7. So everybody survives. I didn't roll a single 9 or 10. And that's the way it's done, fellas. Oh my gosh, that is so stressful. That was the most stressful part of this entire campaign so far, is the transfer. And then these destroyers are going to have to do it again because there's a third campaign. The Ticonderoga and the Wainwright are okay because they're not used again until the third campaign. So they've already passed their test, so we know for sure we're going to get them in the third and final campaign. However, the destroyers are going to have to go through it again. All right, so here's what I'm doing. I have the Leyte Gulf and its helicopter going on a hiatus because we can't take it with us for now. So we got our little +1 cool skill, and so we're just gonna basically, I'm gonna just set it off to the side over here, and then the Wainwright also set off to the side. Both of them proud warriors supporting the fleet, and yeah, we're good there. And then the Doyle is going to move in because it's going to have to help us for the next mission. Now, when we have to pay for SO points, we're only paying for SO points of the ships that are actually going to the next mission. And please forgive me, I'm 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These go on to the ammunition ship. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ammunition ship. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. Boy, did I make a mess. 7, 8 Azrock. Okay, so we at least got the... I'm sorry, I'm like squirrel, and then I go somewhere else. So what I was trying to say is, I'm obviously resetting. We're going to have 4 destroyers and cruisers. This one is on loan, by the way. If I ever fail to destroy the target, I lose him. But we do have him, so there's no need to go in. But we're trying to calculate out of our 100 SO points, where are we at? So let's do that right now. So this is 8 plus 4, that's 12 for ship and helicopter. This one, the Doyle, is at half price. So that's an 8 divided by 2, which is a 4. So 12 and 4 is 16. And I'm going to assume that everybody keeps their skills. I don't think you're repaying for skills. So that's so we're at 16. And then we have a destroyer over here who is 20. So that's 26, 36. And then his helicopter is 5 more, so that's 41. And then we have another destroyer that's the same type, Spruance class. That's another 21 more, so 51, 61. And then his helicopter is another 5, so That's 66. So we started with 100, and we only spent 66 on ships. So that means we're going to get to add some more. And let's get the math written down real quick first. So we're doing the second campaign here. So we have 100 initially, and we have 66 for transferred ships. Okay, and we don't have to pay for the cruisers until mission 3. And in mission 3, they're going to give us that's not the one I'm looking for. They're going to give us 100 again, but then we're going to have to pay for the Ticonderoga and Wainwright, and that's actually, we're going to go over because we're at 66 here. The Ticonderoga will be 76, 86, 92, and then if you add the helicopter, it's going to be another 4 for 96. And then the Wainwright is another 18. So we're gonna be 14 SO points over for the third mission, assuming we keep all the same exact ships that we have now. But it's no big deal because we've already stockpiled a bunch of SO points, so I'm assuming that we're gonna have more again. And but we're at 66 for the transfer. So as you can see, we have, let's see, what is that roughly? That's 24 that are left, right? No. 34. Sorry. And so we can actually buy 34 points worth of ships still. And that's not counting all the SO points we rolled in from the first mission. So here's the deal. The Lady Gulf and the Wainwright go away. The Doyle would move forward to support us. So we basically have one spot for one more ship that we can buy. And we could probably go as premium as we like at this point. And so that's what I think we're going to do. And yeah, that means we're not going to be able to afford all these ships moving on to the third campaign. But I think that's okay. We don't necessarily need to keep them all. And for now, it is totally advantageous to at least have a full force of 5 ships. You don't necessarily need that 7th ship back there, but or 6th ship. But the having a full force of 5 is definitely valuable. So here's what my thoughts were. We've been playing with U.S. ships. Maybe we should introduce the idea of an allied ship. But that's there's a lot of analysis that's going to go into it. First of all, the Allies use weird. I don't want to say weird. They use different ammunition. So like I'm getting used to, like I know what an RGM-84 does. I know what a Mark 46 does. You grab an Allied ship and now all of a sudden they got limb torpedoes or I don't even remember what half the other stuff is called. But they don't use the same munitions, and that creates problems. But there might be some Allied ships out there that are awesome, like just as good as the Spruance. And so that's some of what I think we should at least consider. Now, if we were to look at U.S. ships, first of all, I'm going to take away anything that's cruiser. So we got a destroyer here. There. Get the Iowa out of here. We have the frigates, which I'm actually starting to like the frigates a lot. But the frigates, of course, are they're cheap, and we want to go premium. The Spruance is better than the frigate in almost every way, including detection, but and VLS. But it's a lot more expensive. So here's what we got. So if I'm going to grab a destroyer, I want basically really good sub detection. I need a cool value of 2. if it's going to be up front. I mean, I could always put one in the back, I guess. So this one is a little weak in that department. The sub +2 is good. The ship +1 is not. And this is warrior level. So you're looking at, this is the best it gets. And it has no missile defense at all. And we don't have the missile shield anymore going into this mission. So this one I think is a very bad choice. This one is better and has the same numbers. So it's a kid class. The other thing you have to take into consideration is the detection. So this is a 6.9 and a 7.8, whereas that's a 5.7 and a 6.8. So this kid class destroyer is superior to this in every way. This is a 1964, so I would expect that with a 1981. So the Charles F. Adams class is just a cheap destroyer. That's really all it is. This one is at least a decent candidate. And then the Farragut class, it says 1959. I mean, you know, those go all the way back to World War II. And again, the detection is actually not as bad as the other one, but it's also not as good. And this +1/+1 stinks. Now, it's really good against air. So that's why you would buy this one. I don't think I need one that specializes against air. And then you got here again. Yeah, the Farraguts are just too old. Here's a 1983. So now we're getting into the frigates, though. And that's a noob. So let's flip this around. There we go. So +2 against ship. It's actually a very good frigate. I just don't think it's... So we're either getting +2 or +1. All the frigates are actually better options, to be quite honest. Their detection here is not as good. So like this kid class destroyer still has better detection. This one has decent detection, actually really good. The Knox class. And look at that, +3 ship. That's what you're looking for right there. That's actually a really good option. And then here's another Knox class. So again, I think there's great candidates in here. I would probably end up going with the kid class destroyer, this one right here, which is almost as expensive as the Spruance. And I would, you know what, I still don't even, like, I would do it because it has the best detection values. But beyond that, this is really good. This part down here, like the noise management, so it means it's really hard to detect them. And then, of course, it's going to be better at detecting subs than anything else. And while I've been ignoring the air, you at least want a +1. That is all the options we have for Atlantic ships. Now, there's a Pacific side, which I haven't looked at, but of course those are going to be completely different. And then we have the foreign ships, which, I kid you not, is this big stack of doom. And this was, this was why I recommended at the beginning of the playthrough that you just stick with one country and ignore the others, because look at this. This is nonsense, like how many there are. If anybody complains that DVG is not giving them enough options, you're nuts. Now, with that being said, I do think that they blend. Like, a lot of them are like, okay, what's the difference between this and this? It's very subtle. All right, so as you can see here, actually, they're not even sorted very well. So we got the Hadakazi, which is one type of destroyer, and I'm missing all the other cards for it. So let's just start separating. So what I'm seeing here is a bunch of frigates and another frigate. And like, this is a submarine, which would only be used if we play the submarine game. So I'm going to just take these subs and put them in a different pile. Yep, those are out. Then here we go. We got a destroyer. More frigates. Go here. I already have a destroyer pile here. There's a destroyer. Lots of frigates. Alright, so like here's a cruiser, for example. We're looking at the wrong side, it looks like. This is the warrior side. So you can see there's a cool one See, like it uses this helicopter that we're not familiar with. It uses MM-38s, which we're not familiar with. It doesn't even attack subs. But it's got a really cool +2/+2/+2. I don't think we have any cruisers that do that. And the missile defense is decent. Like, it's not an awful cruiser, is what I'm going with. But I'm going to flip it around because it looks like we have them backwards. And then these are all helicopters, which, there's quite a few, right, to choose from. I don't necessarily need more helicopters. We've already established that. But maybe somewhere in here is a really good foreign helicopter that has like a +2 or +3. Like that one has a +2 against ships. That might be worth, gunning for. Because the helicopter does make the mission when you can use them. And then we got these commanders. So actually that takes up a big chunk of this deck. So look at that. All right, so not quite as many ships, but still there's a lot. Let's take a quick look at these too, because you can always bring a backup commander. So this is a UK commander with sub detect and ship detect +2. Now remember, those are actions you have to spend, and he comes with 4 actions. Our guy only comes with 2. So maybe there's their big difference, right? I keep talking about how awesome our guy is and how perfect he is. Our guy only comes with 2 fast actions here. This guy has 2 in the front and 2 in the rear. That's pretty impressive that he comes with 4. However, at the same time, the other guy has passive abilities here, and this one you have to spend these actions to do these. But to get a +2 in your detection, sub or ship, and you can use them for fast or slow, I still think that's really good. There's like absolutely nothing wrong with that, because he has 2 more actions than the other commander, and at the same time he has to spend those 2, of course, to get increased detection. Detection is something you always need to do. So I really do. I like this one. So if you're doing like the mission against Argentina, I would highly recommend this commander right here, because you got to pick a UK captain, and if you want to like just lead UK ships, I mean, this is a great one, I think. And then now here you got the Japan version of the same thing. Like, it's exactly the same. The cool value is 2, 2, 2. So Japan has a really good commander. Australia, look at that. It's exactly the same. Cool 2, 2, 2. So they gave us a great Australia one. Here's a NATO one. Only 2 actions. And then this is all about the attack. Not as good if you ask me. And yeah, this one's a sub-detect, not as good. So NATO, just like in real life, sucks. Canada. This is really interesting. +3 experience points per encounter. So you can level up fast with him. And then you can reduce stress from a shaken ship. And this is your passive, so you don't have to pay any. It's interesting. I think it's an interesting one. It's just like the other guy, except you're getting a lot of experience points and you can reduce stress. Australia, there you can coordinate missile defense or torpedo defense. It's okay. Woodward, UK. We are looking at the wrong side on this guy. Let's flip him to warrior side. He gets a +2 to repair, ship damage with 2 stress, revenge +3. It's okay. I don't really care for that. And then this last one is a UK commander. A bunch of bonuses to attack. I actually like the detection bonus guys the best, because to be quite honest, if you can get a detection level 3, you get a +3 bonus to your attack. These guys are just a plus bonus to their attack once. If one person detects level 3, then everybody else gets a +3 bonus to their attack. You see, so detection is so much more powerful than just straight up attack focus. You got to spend a commander action every time you want to give that bonus. Here you spend a commander action once, You get detection level 3, and now everybody has a +3 attack bonus. So, like, objectively speaking, this guy is superior. Detection focused leaders are superior to the attack focused ones. The attack focused ones are garbage. Just ignore those. I think they're when you're thinking about it simplistic from a simplicity perspective, the attack focused ones seem like they're the best, but they really aren't. All right, caffeine time. Okay, let's keep going here. Now, I'm smart enough to know that that's a Canadian ship. I'm not smart enough to know what this one is. Because it's named Perth, I'm going to assume that's Australia. And I know it's got a UK symbol in the top left, and then it's got these little stars to the right of it. I don't know, because I know that Commander for Australia is different than Commander for Britain, and I'm assuming that the UK ones are just going to be the Union Jack and not anything else. So I could use some help here. Because that says Perth, I think that gives away the fact that it's a Australian ship. So we can say that the Australian ship has all the stars, and then here's here's Trafalgar. It's got the UK ship there, and then it looks like what is that? What country would that one be? Although we haven't identified which one is UK only, and maybe that's the UK symbol. Because I know the UK Navy uses a different flag than I'm familiar with. Like, that might actually be the UK flag. That one right there. This one, you could see has, that's Canada. So those are pretty easy to identify, the maple leaf. And then since this has all the stars around it, I'm going to assume that that's Australia again. And we do have HMCS, so Her Majesty's Canadian Service. Can I assume that? And then Her Majesty's Australian. Can I assume that? I think I'm getting it. I really do. And then, let's see. That's Spain. We can recognize that. And then, of course, Japan. So those are easy enough to get. This sub doesn't have the Her Majesty thing in front of it. But it could be, no, there's Her Majesty's Australian right there. So if that doesn't have Her Majesty, whatever, in front of it, does that mean that's pure Britain or UK? I think that is the case. Let's just keep going. So here you can see there's more Canada. I got some Italy here. Germany. France. Yeah, Australia. And then here we go. So the sub was missing it, but right there, Her Majesty's Service, right? That's UK. So that is the UK flag. I'm pretty darn sure of it now. And lots of frigates in this game. Some destroyers, more destroyers. These are the other two that go with this one. So we're going to put the warrior on top. So we found his mummy and daddy. Alright, some Italian ones. So these are all frigates. Big pile of them. And now we got some cruisers finally. There's an Italian cruiser. Just one. And then we got some more frigates. Looks like some German contributions here. Is it German or is it NATO? Because I'm just now realizing I don't see a NATO flag. So I could be calling these German, but they're really NATO, because maybe that's the Belgian flag? I don't know what the NATO flag looks like. I always thought it was some crappy blue. I'm showing my ignorance, folks. I apologize. I know some of you are like, how do you not know this stuff? I actually think that that's the NATO flag. Um, I mean, it looks like it's German colors, but that could also be Belgian. And isn't that where NATO's based out of? Um, Actually, because I don't see any NATO flags. Or maybe a NATO commander can. Maybe this is German, and NATO just means it can command any European ships. So you can like mix a whole bunch of European ships together. That's probably what NATO is. I'm gonna land. I think that's more Germany there. Okay, so getting to the brass tacks, we got the Rommel. So very good, Germans. You know, you ban everything Nazi, but you name your ships after Nazi commanders. Always a good thing. Although I think Rommel was probably a decent guy. Didn't seem to have all the crazy fanatical stuff. This looks like an awesome ship. First of all, I'm comparing it to the Spruance. The Spruance detects 5810. This is only a 2-level detection. So this is the part that's bad. He can only detect level 2, but he detects with a 4, which is really good. This is actually better than our Spruance. This is a lot worse, so not as good with ships, or against subs, I mean. It uses American weaponry, and it has a +3 sub and a +2 ship, which is amazing. That's better than anything we have. So this guy is top of the line. Rommel D, 187. His detection level 3 stinks, but everything else, he's only got a cool value of 1. So then we have the Hamburg. Also very good. It's pretty much the same. These numbers are a little better. Actually, both of those are excellent suggestions. The Germans are creating some good navy there. All right, the Hitaki class destroyer. Look at that, a +3 and a +2, and a 4-7. The only drawback is it can only do 2 levels of detection, but this is an excellent ship, and a cool 2. Japanese should be proud of that contribution. All right, the Exeter. The Brits just don't figure it out. They were the first to have radar, and then now they're the last to have detection abilities. So, yeah, that one stinks. The Sheffield. This one, the only reason this one's good is it has good noise management. So, if you did want to consider it. Again, detection levels are super poor, but that's a really nice number. The other thing is like, what does the Lynx do? Like, maybe that's really cool. The Glamorgan, very good numbers here. Decent there. That's a lot better. It can finally detect something. That's not as good. This one uses, like, these are those weird missiles I was telling you about. They're like yellow and they look like planes. And of course, I don't know what the MM38 does. We'd have to look that up. But it's a decent option. I'll go ahead and put it over in the good pile. The Brisbane. You know what? If I actually go with one of these ships, I can't pick a U.S. commander anymore, I don't think. Unless you want to just say, hey, you know, it's no big deal. I think I have to go NATO if I want to mix my ships. So, anyways, as you can see, it goes on and on. What I would look for, if I was trying to choose a good ship, I want really good detection values. So this one only gets level 2 detection. And just to give you a contrast here, this US ship is worth every price you pay because you get 3 levels of detection. Now that 10 sounds like it's hard to achieve, but when you're getting a +1 or whatever, I mean, you're getting bonuses to your rolls, so that's helpful. This one's actually harder to get a 10 because he only gets a +1. But a 4-6 against the sub is really good, and he's getting a +3. So it's almost a guarantee, and it's also overcoming the range penalties and stuff like that. Like, this one is horrible. Oh my gosh. Australia, what you thinking? +1/+1? That's it? I mean, detection's decent. Ugh, that one's horrible. All right, the Lutien. Again, really good detection. Decent. It's a decent one, but doesn't stand out. But if you're forming a German crew there, see, the thing is I didn't see a German commander, so this has to be NATO. I don't know what to say. Iroquois. Canadian. Decent. Not good. Yeah, it's really good at detecting subs. It's a lot better at subs than most of the other ones, but the ship is not as good. And there's the Perth. Very decent. At least respectable. Oh. Ship to ship is good. This is a decent one, not a great one, but it's got really good anti-air, if that's the thing you need to worry about. And then the Asagiri. Very good. +2/+2. The cool value is low. Excellent detection. Average. Average. Good against torpedoes. So, yeah, lots of choices here. The thing that I found most interesting is after going through all these cards, there's only 2 cruisers that are offered by other nations, and it's France and Italy. So if you pick United Kingdom, for example, there's no cruisers at all for the United Kingdom. I think that's crazy. But anyways, you got the Andrea Doria. That's decent. Average. Good. Poor. Apparently this is like more of an anti-air type of ship. And then very decent there. So it's not the worst thing in the world. The Rim 2s are... I don't know what the Rim 2s do. But it's only got a gun for anti-ship, so this thing is not meant to be anti-ship, even though it detects other ships. It's more of an anti-sub, anti-air cruiser. And then, of course, we already looked at the Colbert. Other than being an awful late-time comedy host, it actually has really good numbers. All right, so that's my analysis of the Allied ships, and if I was going through all of these when I first started playing without having the experience that I have now, I would be I'd be overwhelmed. And I didn't even go through the frigates, because the frigates are turning out to be like the late game heroes here. Because the I guess I got another one here, Iroquois class. That's okay. So the frigates, like I said, are becoming like late game heroes because they're super cheap. They seem to have a lot of +3s, which are very specialized, but good. Like, you want that. And their detection isn't bad. I mean, 5.8's not as good as 4.7, but again, the American ones have 3 levels of detection. And I'm going through all the foreign ones here, and like that's only 2 levels of detection each. So they just don't have quite the radar capabilities. Or detection capabilities as the others. But, because I'm seeing a lot of +2s, which are good. This one is flipped around. That's a +2 ship. It's decent. Gotta flip them this way now. So there we go. We got a frigate from Japan. Like, a lot of these are starting to blur. Like, +2, +1, right? What's the next one? Oh, it's +2, +1 as well. There's +2, +2. So this one stands out a little bit. Oh yeah, there's a Spanish one. So we have no Spanish commanders either, I don't think. So you have to go with NATO if you want to control Spanish ships, I would assume. And I would also assume that a UK commander can control Canadian and Australian forces. I don't know. I mean, they are independent countries these days. That is an interesting conundrum there. But there you go. I feel like I spent way more time on this than I probably should have. But it is like content that comes with the game that I'm not even using. So I do have a general curiosity with it now. But there you have it. Tons of cards in the Allied expansion, plus the base game. And then, of course, they gave us some extra subs, which I'm going to separate those out. and they go off to the side. If you're hoping for me to start the campaign in this video, and in case you haven't gotten the hint, I'm not going to. I got some setup I need to do, like sorting out the target cards, which I probably could have done by now in the amount of time I spent, going over these different ships. The submarines, I haven't played the submarine game enough to know what to tell you here. Other than a +3/+3 sounds fantastic. Like, it looks like he's got the best of everything. You know, how well is his detection here? Weapon storage. We have to compare him to some US ones. But this seems like, at least from a bonus perspective, a fantastic sub. And then 2 and 2 here. This one actually looks really good. But look, there's another +3/+3. So apparently that's not hard to get. This one has towed array. This one doesn't. Yeah, again, I guess it looks like +3/+3 is a lot easier to get than I thought. Because all three of them had +3/+3. What do we got here? We got carriers. And then there's this. This is the Pacific Task Force. So we have Pacific ships for the U.S. that you'd have to go through. Like, for example, there's Ticonderoga class ships over here as well. And, maybe they're all going to have different skills. They're not going to be quite the same as the ones we're using now. So the ones I liked, maybe aren't going to be as good. And then, of course, you got the Mighty Mo. So yeah, the Pacific side has its own set, just as big as the Atlantic side. So it would be interesting to check them out. Obviously, they're not going to be that much different because Americans aren't going to design, a Knox-class frigate that uses different ammunition just because it's on the Pacific side. But they're probably going to have like different promotion rates and also the +1 sub +1. That's going to change. Okay, so here we are. I spent a whole video. Probably the most dramatic part was doing the dice rolls. I do got to get the campaign set up, and so I will do that off camera. And thanks for watching. If anything, I just wanted to not do a rant, and I succeeded. Although I did let myself get sidetracked with the cards, but I think that analysis was still good. I know some people were like, "Can you try the other countries or whatever?" Look, these games take hours to play, especially campaigns. It's really hard to just try another country. And technically speaking, I don't know if I can take an Italian ship and put it under an American commander. Like, that's the other weird part about this game. I don't think the game restricts me and says that I can't do it, but I think thematically it makes, I don't know, I guess it, I'm sure Italy wouldn't mind letting one of their military ships, be commanded by a U.S. for a joint cause, right? I guess that's possible. I just I don't have enough knowledge to know if that's even a thing. Because as much as countries are friends with each other, as much as I know the UK is as strong of an ally as we've ever had, I still think we keep secrets from them, and they keep secrets from us. And so, they're an ally, yeah, but we still don't share the whole breadbasket with them. So anyways, thanks for watching. Stay awesome.